another Duel Links decks video. Today we are going to have our Chimeratech Cyber-End Dragon Deck. For this deck we are going to use the Cyber Style skill from Zane Truesdale. This can be used each time your life points are at 3000 or below. Play one Proto Cyber Dragon on from outside of your deck for every 1000 life points below 4000. This skill can only be used once per duel. The strategy that we have for this deck is to stall the duel, then do OTK or one turn kill. We need to stall the duel to accumulate our machine-type monsters in our hand, field and graveyard, as well as draw the appropriate cards to execute the OTK. As for using the Cyber Style skill, we also need to wait for the right moment to summon those Proto Cyber Dragon and fusion summon either Cyber-End Dragon or Chimeratech Overdragon. The hardest part to using the Cyber-End or Chimeratech OTK is getting the timing right. Every duel has a different timing and you need to assess the duel on when you should execute your OTK move. Lastly, we can also do a dual OTK version for this deck. First is the aforementioned Cyber-End or Chimeratech OTK. We'll have the second one later on while discussing the deck. With all of that out of our way, let's check out our deck list. First we have 2 King of the Swamp. We can use this as a fusion substitute, and can also search our deck for our polymerization card. Next we have 3 Cyber Phoenix. We have this here temporarily as one of our draw engines, since currently we only have 1 Buster Drake. Somehow the card trader won't let us get more copies, but we will definitely replace these Cyber Phoenix with 3 Buster Drakes. Buster Drake more or less have the same effect that Cyber Phoenix has for our deck. Buster Drake can also serve as a draw engine for our deck and has a higher attack and defense than Cyber Phoenix. After that we have 3 Jade Knight. Jade Knight also serves as a draw engine for our deck. Since Jade Knight and Buster Drake have 1800 defense points, they both will have a stalling effect for our deck. But if ever the opponent has monsters with higher attack than this monster's defense, then our support trap cards will handle that. Then we have 2 Cyber-End Dragon. This needs 3 Cyber Dragons to be fusion summoned. Since Cyber Dragons are not released yet, we will use the Proto Cyber Dragon summoned by the Cyber Style skill to fusion summon a Cyber-End Dragon. When this monster attacks a defense position monster, it can inflict piercing damage to the opponent. After that we have 3 Chimeratech Overdragon. This can be fusion summoned by combining 1 Cyber Dragon and 1 or more machine-type monsters. When this is special summoned, send all other cards you control to the graveyard. The original attack and defense of this card becomes equal to the number of fusion material monsters used to fusion summon this monster times 800. Each turn, this card can attack your opponent's monsters a number of times equal to the number of fusion material monsters used for its fusion summon. Before we go to our spells and traps, as mentioned in the beginning, we can add another OTK sequence to our deck. Having Jade Knight and Buster Drake, both monsters with 1800 defense, adding Spike Shield with Chain on these monsters will definitely deal immense reflect damage to our opponents. For Jade Knight with Spike Shield with Chain, it could deal at least 3300 damage. While for Buster Drake with Spike Shield and Chain, it could deal at least 3800 damage. Now let's check our spells and traps. First we have 2 Hey True Nade. This should clear the opponent's back row once we're ready to do our OTK. Next we have Cybernetic Fusion Support. With this we could decrease our life points to a considerable amount so that we could get at least 2 or 3 Proto Cyber Dragon when we use the Cyber Style skill. Cybernetic Fusion Support also would allow us to use machine monsters on our graveyard as fusion materials, which should be able to boost the attack points of Chimeratech Overdragon significantly. After that we have 2 copies of Polymerization. Then we have 2 to 3 copies of Floodgate Trap Hole. This will help keep stalling the duel up to the right time to do OTK. Lastly we have 2 to 3 copies of Wall of Disruption. This will also support our deck on stalling the duel for our OTK. Before we go, we have a few cards that we can consider adding to our deck. First is Spike Shield with Chain. If you want the Reflect build on your deck, just replace a few traps and insert this. Next, as we have mentioned a while ago, replace Cyber Phoenix with Buster Drake. Then we could also go with the Fusion Gate plus Planet Pathfinder combo to easily get our fusion card, but this is a bit dangerous since the opponent can use your Fusion Gate. You could also place either Cyber Dragon Dre or Cyber Dragon Zwei on the deck if you prefer. That is all for our featured deck. Make sure to watch the replay to get an overall idea on how to play the deck. If you have questions or suggestions, please leave a comment below. For more videos, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Now let's go to our replay.
Duel.